If possible, I would like you all 8, and you guys are paired quite nicely. So you 4 are kind of in one group here. You guys can kick each other. And then we have the other 4 over here. So then we just gently go down. Anybody that might anticipate having any ear issues, please just take your time. There is no need to rush your way down just so that we can gain more time out of the computer. I have other tricks in my sleeve for that. So you take your time. I will like you to just kind of pay attention to the entire group. In most of other dives, we just go down and we kind of go about our own business and we don't pay attention to the dive master. That's me, by the way. This time I want you to please pay attention. We all kind of want to go together. If somebody's having ear trouble, I will appreciate if we all can just sort of wait. And then the worst case scenario is that one of you is not able to equalize within about 2 minutes time, in which case I will bring you to the surface, point you to which one is our boat, or any boat for that matter, but I will prefer that you get back in our boat, and then you're going to need to swim on the surface all the way back to the boat. Okay? The boat is not going to be able to come and pick you up there. I guess he could, but preferably not. This blue hole dive is not a dive where I can allow you to just kind of wander in mid-water by yourself, because other than the wall, there is no visual reference here, and then you can get lost and eventually maybe get vertigo and even either go deeper or go shallower or just kind of get lost. I'll tell you a good story after the dive concerning a couple getting lost. So now here we are all going down together. There is the coral that you see is actually a rim of coral around the hole. From the air, it looks pretty. Then there is a slope of silt that goes from the surface all the way down to about 50 feet. So it kind of looks like this. Try not to kick that silt because it's going to get even siltier or murkier. So right here we have a ledge at about 50 feet or so. And this is the point where when you reach over the edge and you look into the abyss, it's going to look really black and it's going to give you a little dingy in your feelings. Okay? You're just looking down and it looks dark and it looks black and it looks scary. Try to convert that feeling into excitement because it is exciting. If you could imagine that the light is going to be coming from the sun from behind us, so the hole itself, which is sort of like an enclosed big thing, looks dark, but as soon as you start falling in, then light will be coming with you as well, if that makes any sense. I don't understand most of the time what I mean. But so as we're falling down, our eyes are going to be able to see all around us. Okay? We want to fall as though we are kind of skydiving. If you could just spread your arms, your legs, and just enjoy the ride down. As we are falling down, of course, you're going to be able to drop faster because the water is going to compress. The water pressure is going to compress anything that compresses even your lungs, and you're just going to fall faster. So at about more or less 100 feet, I will want you to kind of level off your depth, your depth. If you could pay attention to the wall, you don't need any depth gauge nor dive computer. Just follow the formation of the wall. So here at 50 feet, we have the ledge that starts of the wall going down. Then at about 100 feet, if you pay attention, the wall stops being vertical and it starts taking a slight degree in. This is actually a ceiling. That's where the stalactites are hanging from. But you might not notice because it's not a ceiling like this with two walls in either side. There are no walls really. Okay? At about 110 to 120, what is the wall is kind of like the leftover of what used to be a ceiling about 10,000 years ago. And down below there is going to be a sandy ledge that's at 160 feet. That's where Dale wanted to go. And so this is just kind of like a watermark, or the mark where the water level used to be about 10,000 years ago. Okay? So what we do there at about 110, 120, we simply swim next to the stalactites. I like to swim behind the stalactites because when you get in the corner, the darker corner of a room, from that dark corner, you can see everything else that's lit up. Versus you are in the lit up part, and then you don't see what's in the dark corners. So for the cameras, the best pictures, I think, will be when we are just going in and you get kind of under the ledge behind the stalactites. And so then you have kind of like the wall coming right here and the light of the sun just going in. And then you can take nice pictures from kind of the shadows. So make sure you get my left side. And if you do not, for whatever reason, want to swim behind or underneath the stalactites, you can simply follow. The stalactites kind of resemble this ladder, except that they're round, way taller. So we're gonna be swimming behind it, and you can just kind of be swimming right here, so that you kind of feel that you are outside, but not. You are gonna be under. Yeah. Okay. So we swim through that, and then at about between 10 and 15 minutes at some depth down there, I am gonna bang in my tank and give you this signal. This simply means that we need to slowly start heading up. On the way up, we can look for little things in the wall. There are kind of like the same creatures we saw last night in the night dive. We have giant clams. We might see some groupers, some barracudas, maybe some reef sharks swimming in the distance or below us. There is a cave, or the entrance of a cave at about 90 feet or so. We can kind of go in a little bit deep from the entry. There are usually, like how there's been more divers this morning, air packets trapped in the ceiling. We could swim through it, but it's got the exit here, the entry and exit kind of together, but we don't want to. So we just kind of want to peep in and keep on slowly coming. When we get back to the rim, we get to about 20 feet and do our 5-minute safety stop. Instead of 3, we like to do 5. And it's not a boring safety stop. From that boat, we're gonna simply follow nice and easy the coral right on the shallow until we find our buoy. And then from there, we come to our ladder, okay? Air consumption is not a problem here. Regardless of how much air you breathe, even though we're going to probably 130 feet and we're gonna consume a lot of air, you are going to be down there so little that you are going to still end up with a lot of air. Okay?
Excuse me.
Cold. It is colder down there. There is a thermocline at about 80 feet or 100 or some deep depth. But the good thing is when you're falling into it, it feels really chilly. You're only going to be there for a few minutes, and then on the way up it feels nice when you're coming back to kind of like the little warmish water. Okay, visibility. When we are swimming by the stalactites, the visibility is almost always very clear, like over 100. However, the shaft or the descent direction or area is going to have a lot of silt. Remember the surface, there is this slope, a lot of divers kicking, and there is like all these flaky things just kind of falling down that vertical shaft. And so you kind of, they are mostly kind of either suspended or some might be falling, so it's kind of a bit, it makes you a little disoriented. But it should get better visibility wise once we get to the stalactites. Okay, so any nitrogen narcosis, if you feel well, the thing is, nitrogen narcosis is only dangerous when you don't have me. When you are diving with me, it's just more exciting. You will never know or recognize that you are narked or under the influence or narcosis. You're just gonna feel good. So this is kind of what I want you to do here. Just enjoy the dive. Of course, if you could look at your dive buddy and vice versa, you might see their eyes getting bigger and more dilated, okay? Or maybe acting a little bit more goofy than normal. Those are kind of the signs. It's all got to do with depth. So if I see you acting weird, I just have to bring you from one ear about 10 feet shallower, and then the feeling goes away. But most of the time, we're there quite high on nitrogen, and it just feels really good. And then at the end of the dive, you don't have any hangover. Okay? Any questions? Okay to ask and to answer? Something is wrong? down, up. I will still use these instead of these, but yeah, we're gonna do 5 minutes safety stop. Coming out of the water is nice and calm, so the same procedures as before. Get your fins or your weight belt or whatever you want, and then we climb up. Be extra careful with cameras, computers, lights, because if anything drops here, weight pouches, anything drops, we can go get it. In fact, not this November, but last November, Richard Branson was here with a big research boat, and they found a lot of dive equipment and 2 bodies.
Oh, really?
So, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's finish the briefing in that good note.
I like how you wrap that briefing up.